When I think about Lamar, I think he's an electrifying athlete, probably the ultimate dual-threat playmaker in this game. I've likened him in the past to Michael Vick 2.0.
I just think when you look at Lamar Jackson, you are buying him for the future.
Absolutely.
I think you can rush him on the field and get enamored with his athleticism, but I still think the best thing for him, go somewhere, get a chance to sit, get a chance to really refine your fundamentals, and then once you get that taken care of, he might take the league by storm once he gets out on the field.
I watch Baker Mayfield, feisty, gritty, tough, alpha dog competitor, a guy who is accurate and decisive with the ball, and more importantly, he's a winner.
Yeah, when I start with the positives with Baker, I'll start with just how quick he is. Everything's quick in the pocket, quick feet. He's got a nice, quick stroke. He can make every throw. Arm talent-wise, I remember telling you about it, getting a chance to see him live for the first time. Whatever concerns you may have had, okay, he's a smaller guy. Can he really spin it? This dude can spin it. I mean, you see him throw with velocity. He can drive the ball outside the hash. Now, the flip side of it and what concerns you a little bit is, okay, this offense is beautifully designed, and they get some dudes naked. I mean, they get guys wide open. And then, look, you got to talk about it, the maturity issue. I mean, this is something that showed up off the field, and it also even showed up on the field.
Athletic gunslinger, a guy who you've talked about being fearless, courageous. He's clutch. He can make plays in the pocket, outside the pocket. He's a big game performer. He's a blue-collar player. He is someone that strikes me as the epitome of a franchise quarterback at the next level.
Yeah, I just think the toughness at the quarterback position is so undervalued. I think it's a huge component there. And he has not only the physical toughness to stand in there and take hits, but he has that mental toughness to be able to be able to come back from a poor series, a poor throw. He has that ability to be able to shut that down and move forward. So his toughness to me is one of the things I love. The interceptions doesn't even really bother me as much, but the fumbles inside the pocket, I do think, just keeping your offhand on the ball will help him in that area. But it's always something he needs to focus on and concentrate on.
Look, this is an A-plus talent. This is a guy that we talk about, we dream about as a scout in terms of seeing what someone can bring to the table from a physical standpoint. And he is everything that you want to work with as a quarterback coach, meaning he's undeveloped, he's raw, he's unrefined.
Yeah, the number with him people are going to point to is the completion percentage. That's the focus. And anybody who wants to take shots at Josh Allen and talk about how he's not accurate, that's the one thing. And then the second thing they say, wow, when they've stepped up in competition, he hasn't played well. Now, I look for comparisons. Look, the easy one is Carson Wentz. They're darn near identical height, weight, speed. You look at them playing in the same system for the same head coach.
You didn't want this tag to you, so I'm going to take the heat.
I'm
going to compare him to Cam Newton. And the reason I'm going to compare him to Cam Newton because from a talent standpoint, the guy has everything that you want to see. Size, athleticism, big arm, can make these throws. But when you were describing his kind of getting stuck, he gets stuck on progressions, but then he has so much arm talent that he can make up for it. Well, we've seen that from Cam Newton his entire career.
I think probably over a year now where you have said Josh Rosen is the top quarterback in this draft. You have not budged. You have not moved.
No, I haven't. I believe he's the best pure passer in this draft. I've kind of anointed him the natural because when I look at the tape, I believe he does everything that we have seen high-level NFL quarterbacks do for the last 20 to 25 years. Throws with great touch, timing, anticipation. He has tremendous arm talent. He has a great feel for the game. And you can tell by the way he plays, he has a high football IQ.
Everybody's using this phrase, too, the best pure passer. Because it's accurate. It is what he is. He's the best pure passer. Mechanically, you watch him in his drop. He throws from a nice firm platform. He's got a quick release. The ball pops out of his hand. He throws a nice tight ball. Now, the issues that arise a little bit when stuff's off schedule. I've been talking about the escapability with him. He does have the ability to maneuver within the pocket some and get away from in tight quarters. But just, I would say probably more even than escapability, I would say creativity. He's just not a creative type of a playmaker at the position. He's an on-schedule, on-time, in-rhythm thrower.
Well, when we first got him, I mean, he could throw the ball through a wall. He had such an incredibly strong arm. And his deep ball, was okay, but his out routes from, collegiate-style out routes, for when he's on the left hash, throwing to the right hash. I mean, you could hear the ball in the air making that whistling sound. Then we just had to work on his footwork and his accuracy, and he got better. He went to camps. He is a self-made player. I've coached 43 years, and I've never seen anything like him And I know I sound like I'm just blowing smoke, but this guy's truly one of a kind. I mean, he's more than a generational guy. He's a guy that has got nothing but upside, and he's going to do wonderful in the NFL.
What kind of leader was he for you at your high school?
He was just a consummate leader, to be honest with you. Even one of the most vivid memories that I have is junior year. He's our starting quarterback. We go on to win a state championship, our 5th in a row. And our band had made it far in the playoffs for them. And so they're getting ready to go to what was essentially their state championships. And we did a send-off, and Baker Mayfield was leading the chants, leading the yells, holding the signs, doing a send-off. The football team, the quarterback, the most popular guy in town, was doing that for those band kids. And I thought that was pretty awesome. And that's the type of kid that he is. We could coach him hard. He was a good player, but we could get after him, and he always wanted to get better. And so that's not always the case with some of your better players. Sometimes they've been good for so long that it's hard for them to take some constructive criticism, and Baker was never like that. Baker was always looking for ways to get better. And then, that same year, we were 15-0 going to the state championship game, and he played probably the best football game of his career, on the biggest stage that there was. And so he doesn't blink. That's one thing about him. He's confident in his ability. He's confident in the ability for him to get the people around him to play at a higher level. And so the way that he's been successful is because he's outworked people, and he's had to play smarter, play harder. And so I think what that does is over time, that gives you a lot of confidence that even if you're up against some obstacles or even if things aren't going your way, you're used to it being difficult. And so he hasn't shied away from that.
When Sam was a freshman, he was our freshman quarterback, did a great job leading that team. And then his sophomore year, we had, Sam was a sophomore, we had a senior, it was kind of the heir apparent. And early on, we made the decision that, Sam was such a great athlete that at that point in time, we needed him on both sides of the ball. And so Sam was a starting outside linebacker. He was also a starting wide receiver. And as that year went on, our quarterback ended up getting hurt, and Sam jumped in week 9 of the season, did a great job leading us to a victory in the last 40 seconds of a game. And after that, the rest is history, where Sam went on to do some great things. And he definitely made his presence known on our campus and in our area as well.
Coach, obviously, you've been around him the most. Why should Sam be the number 1 pick in the draft?
I just think he has the tangibles on and off the field to lead a program. As a starter at USC, he was 20-4. At San Clemente, he was 15-4. And I think he's the type of player that, at the top of the board, he's a guy that's going to change that any NFL franchise around.
The head coach at St. John Bosco, who won a national championship with Josh Rosen. I want to go back to the first time that you were aware of Josh and what your first impression was of him as not only a football player, but as a kid.
The first time that I saw him, he was an 8th grader, and he was part of our little 7-on-7 off-season program that we had an opportunity to work with young guys that were coming into our program, and he was a super talented kid. I mean, he popped right from the beginning in terms of his skill set and his ability to throw the football, move around the pocket, his presence in terms of his footwork. All those things were just, obviously stood out, and we could tell immediately that he was going to be something special.
Coach, so much has been made about his intelligence, his ability to grasp a playbook. How quickly did he understand the nuances of your playbook when he got to St. John's Bosco?
I thought he picked it up pretty quickly. I mean, one of the things that, Josh is very skilled at is his ability to ask questions and understand, what's going on behind the concepts and the schematics of what we're trying to accomplish offensively. I think that's one of the things that obviously he takes a little bit of, criticism for, is his ability to ask so many questions and wonder why we do things. And I think that is unfortunate because that's one of his strong points, in my opinion. And for a kid at such a young age to come into our program and to ask so many questions, it was kind of refreshing for us because we knew we had a guy that wanted to learn and become the best that he could possibly be.
Buck, it's the best. I love talking to these high school coaches. They just offer tremendous insight. Former Louisville assistant head coach, OC, and quarterback coach, and he recruited Lamar to Louisville.
Initially, you're just watching the film. So all the, everything you're thinking is just based on the talent that you're looking at, on the film or the high school highlight tapes. And you just saw a superior athlete, a guy that has been blessed with abilities that not many people are blessed with. In particular, just his total athletic ability, running around the field and making plays. And so that's the first thing that that I saw when I started watching the film of Lamar, that he's one of those talents that's rare. It doesn't come around often.
Some of the people will talk about Baker and the system that you guys played in at Oklahoma. Why do you believe that regardless of system, he's going to be successful at the next level?
Well, because if you look at, what we do offensively, it's, we do a lot of the different things that he's going to do at this level. I mean, he's played in the gun. He's played under center. He's done a lot of play action. We've moved the pocket. He's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks to ever do it. He's really improved within the pocket and become dominant from there. And then, again, he's a guy that regardless what system you're playing in, when a play breaks down, the guy has just a great knack for making things happen. I've seen it for so many years now. I've seen it in different venues. I've seen it, different challenges the kid's faced with so many eyes on him, with all the pressure in the world on him. The guy he's a winner. He's a winner. He's going to make your team better. He's going to energize your team, your fan base, and you'll get every ounce that kid has.
I think anytime you have that quarterback position, you look at the intangibles, because the quarterback position is supposed to lift up the entire organization. I've never seen a great quarterback on a bad football team. I mean, they lift everybody else up, and that's what Sam does. I mean, when he walks into the building, he shows you what it's like to be a pro. With his work ethic, him trying to be a student of the game, him a master of his craft, just the way he handles himself on and off the field, how he's so integrated in the team success over any individual success. I mean, he's the model of what you want at the position. Not necessarily from a talent standpoint. Everybody knows he's talented, but from all the little intangible things that come with the leadership qualities that you have to have at the quarterback position, especially like a place at SC that everybody in the world's watching.
Greg Bowl.
But what you see Josh doing and why there's so much buzz and the upward trajectory is those are elements of his value system. He's got great determination. He was an underdeveloped guy out of high school and junior college, and the sky's the limit for him. And so all the things that you're seeing, he's continuing to improve. As I said on his pro day, you just don't see his ball. You hear it. Never seen anybody that's got his kind of arm strength. Never.
You think he has the most growth still ahead of him, man? What area would that be?
The part that frustrated me during the course of the fall, sometimes you're so concerned about some of the schematics that, his footwork got a little bit sloppy. I don't know if he really understood, the magnitude of setting his base and being fundamentally sound. So when you're able to go out in the game, you're not having to think about your footwork. It just naturally happens.
Is there ever a moment on that practice field when he got to UCLA, that kind of one moment you went like, okay, that's the real deal?
Well, there were a lot of those. Just about every day he would do something that you really were kind of amazed at, whether it was a throw or his ability to recognize a defense or make a decision, check out of a play, get you into a play, a question that he would ask, an upper level question, a question you might expect from a 5-year vet in the NFL, that all of a sudden this this young man was asking you. There were a lot of moments like that, and then there was also moments when you saw that, he was still a freshman. But what you always saw was that he had the ability and the intelligence to become a great player if he so desired.
How about a fit for Lamar Jackson? What do you think?
Ideally, I would think the Jacksonville Jaguars would be a nice fit. Strong running game. They have a defense. They have a creative offensive coordinator in Nathaniel Hackett. But I'm going to go beyond that. How about the Cincinnati Bengals? And the Cincinnati Bengals, because this is a team that needs someone to back up Andy Dalton. They've shown the ability to be creative. I believe they can run their same offense with Lamar Jackson, and in a year or two, he can take it over. I think that would be a really, really nice fit for him.
I can look at a couple different spots here. I think maybe the New York Jets. How about Pittsburgh? Ben Roethlisberger getting towards the end of the line. You don't have to rush him on the field. You've got time to develop him, and he could have a nice payoff when it's all said and done.
Where would be a good spot for Baker Mayfield at the next level? Why don't you lead us off? Which team do you like?
The best spot would be the New Orleans Saints. And the reason it would be the best spot, he would get an opportunity to sit and watch the guy that he hopes to emulate in Drew Brees. I believe a transition from Drew Brees to Baker Mayfield would be a seamless transition for the New Orleans Saints. That's why I would fully endorse that move.
Well, the team you keep hearing about is Miami. Miami seems enamored with him, and I can definitely buy that as a fit. But Alex Smith, plug your ears. You're not going to want to hear this. I think the Washington Redskins, and really it's you almost feel bad. I think Sam Darnold is one of those guys you can plug him in a lot of different places. Cleveland, to me, is the best fit. They got the first pick. To me, it makes the most sense. I think he's the right guy for them. But outside of Cleveland, is there another team you think would be a great fit for Sam?
I think he's one of the rare quarterbacks that can go anywhere. And I think the reason he can play anywhere is because his personality lends itself to be a fit in the locker room. His athleticism, his arm talent, and all those things. Like, look, he checks off all the boxes.
How about a team fit?
Well, the team that wants him the most, I would think, would be the Buffalo Bills. And the reason why it would be a good fit up there is because I'm talking about him being wired the right way.
Well, I think this might be a little bit early, but the New York Giants, to me, there's no rush to get on the field. You got a 2-time Super Bowl winner in Eli Manning. Also have some nice young weapons there to deal with.
In terms of teams, I know we mentioned the Jets a little bit earlier. Any other spots you think would be a great fit for Josh Rosen? I think you've said Denver.
I've said Denver before. I think Denver would be a nice fit because they have the weapons around them. Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas. You have a couple of quarterbacks in the building, in Gary Kubiak and John Elway. So I think he could really glean a lot of insight from those guys.